I got a letter saying Jason was like, the only time I'm happy is when I'm drunk. That's what he said, word for word. And when I came back to LA, that's all he did is drink. And I was so competitive with him that I wanted to, anything he did, I wanted to beat him. So when I got to UC Santa, so I tried to stay away from drugs, even though, you know, whatever. When I got to UC Santa Cruz, which is the pot capital of the entire universe, probably, they had teachers smoking weed. Like, they were smoking so much weed that, like, I remember, I don't know if did I tell you about the time I went to I had to turn in a paper, and the professor's like, okay, let's smoke some weed, right? And the guy went to this guy, he's a professor at Harvard now, but anyways, I won't mention any names, but because I'm not, but anyways, I said I'm in AA, and he goes, I think that was probably, he said it didn't work for him, AA.
Yeah.
And anyways, to make a long story short, when I was in Santa Cruz, Jason wasn't there. So I started doing like mostly weed and drinking.
Yeah.
But I think you probably know that in Santa Cruz is like mushroom city and, you know, other things. So when you smoke weed up there, it's like, you don't know what's in it. And then when I met Angie, my girlfriend back then, who now she's my girlfriend, we live together now. The first year I was at Santa Cruz, I was drinking so much that the paramedics had to come to my room so many times. Because for me, I was like one of those drinkers that was like, I was a blackout drinker, or at least I just had to vomit and get sick. That's what stopped me from drinking. And I'd always end up with the paramedics, you know? And sometimes my girlfriend at the time, she's like, Danny's going to die. Danny's going to die. He went to the ER again. And at the end of the year, when I started dating Angie says, you know, Danny, if you don't get sober, I will never talk to you again. And at that time, I went to Los Angeles. I went to my first meeting, my first AA meeting. It was at Fox's Deli, right? Mm-hmm. Which is it's in Brentwood, you know? And I went down there, and the guys are like, you can't drink. And I'm like, that's not really a problem, because at that time I was smoking weed, you know? And they said, well, you can't smoke weed. And I said, well, what does it have to do with drinking? And like, I guess they convinced me. So I was sober for about a year. And I'm just telling you a little of my story. And then sure enough, after a few years, it's crazy, man. I love my sister, but we got drunk together after a year. I don't know if she understood that I was in the program, but I slipped. It's so easy to slip, you know? And I had to start over. And then when I went to Israel, because I couldn't get into medical school here, I went down there and I was trying to stay sober. And then I just said, fuck this. There was so much terrorism going on that I wanted to go home, and I got suicidal. And then my Russian friend had all this vodka, man. You know how the Russians, they just don't stop drinking. Yeah. They drink like the entire bottle. And I drank so much that I ended up getting, what's that called? Alcohol poisoning.
Yeah.
And in Israel, have you been to Israel?
Yeah.
They have these doors where you lock them from the inside and the outside. So if you lose your key, like, for example, you walk in the room and then you have to lock it from the inside and then take your key out. So here I am, sick off my ass. I couldn't find the key to get out the door. So I was stuck in this fucking room. And then finally I got out. And then I went to the emergent, I guess it was kind of like an ER. And I guess they were being assholes. They're like, we'll pay you, if you pay me $50, we'll give you an IV. And I was like, dude, I don't have any money, man. And I think he just sent me home. And to make a long story short, I came back here, but I've been in and out so many years, but I had 15 years, you know, and I know how hard it is, dude. And to me, well, I don't know about your story, but my story was like, to me, it was just it's like a slow suicide thing, you know? And like I told you before, when I tried to commit suicide, I had Klonopin, alcohol, and I tried to hang myself, but man, it just didn't work. And luckily I'm still alive, you know? But do you have, since we talked about my story, do you want